and welcome to Great Getaways.
Today we're going to Oscoda, Michigan to enjoy the natural beauty of the AuSable River. This is a favorite for canoeing, kayaking, and tubing with family and friends. We'll stop for a bite to eat along the shores as a naturalist reveals the many edible plants found in Michigan. Then we're off for a little hiking in the Hoist Lake area, part of the nearly 450,000 acres of the Huron National Forest. As you'll see, canoeing and kayaking are easy to learn if you're a novice, and there are excellent guide companies that will ensure you have the best possible experience on the AuSable. So let's get started on this great getaway. Oscoda is on Michigan's eastern shoreline overlooking Lake Huron. Located at the mouth of the famous AuSable River, it's a favorite of fishermen, canoers, and kayakers. Oscoda is surrounded by thousands of acres of well-groomed hiking trails, and for those who like to get back to nature by hitting the golf course, you'll find nationally ranked courses right nearby. The area is steeped in folklore and history of the Native Americans who were the first to call this area home. It's a popular vacation destination year-round. The scenic drive along Lake Huron alone is worth the trip. It was a beautiful summer day as we headed out to kayak on the AuSable River with Paul Comrouse and Jim Miller of AuSable River Kayaking. Their company offers guided tours of the scenic AuSable for all ages and ability levels. Trips last for 2 to 4 hours depending on the course you choose. The kayaks are top of the line, including the North Star Tandem for 2 kayakers and kayaks like the Wilderness System Tempest for individuals. They helped me get into the kayak and get my bearings.
You're going to want your feet like this.
Oh, and that slides it. Okay. And how?
And you want your legs to be cocked like that underneath there.
Well, it seems to be fun so far. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to because I've always been in smaller kayaks before. This is a little bit longer, a little bit narrower, but you feel secure in here, and you can move around a little bit. Even though you're tipping, you don't feel like you're going to fall out or anything. Seems to be able to control seems to be good, and we'll find out if it all stays true, and hopefully I won't fall in the water.
We take off down the AuSable, and so far so good. As you can see, the river is calm, making this the perfect place to get some experienced kayaking. Paul and Jim are experienced and highly trained guides who are careful with the sensitive wetland areas along the river and well acquainted with the wildlife and plants. Expect to see trumpeter swans, loons, eagles, and other spectacular sights along the way. Older viewers will remember a commercial that ran back in the 60s for Post-Grape Nut cereal with naturalist Yul Gibbons crunching on tree bark and asking, "Ever eat a pine tree? Many parts are edible." Jim Miller is also a naturalist and shows us how we can forage for food along the AuSable River. We started with the common cattail, much of which is edible.
And there is a gel on here. You can feel that, Tom.
Oh yeah.
And it is just like from the aloe plant, so it's very good for your skin. It's very good for burns as well.
Oh, no kidding. So
Yeah.
you do have something
It's a medicine
that
as
you
well.
see all the time.
All the time.
That can help out. Okay.
Now this section down in here, as we go down through the leaves a little bit, you'll see it gets very white. And we use the leaves for making mats when we build a traditional village, a wigwam or a teepee style village, which is part of what I do as my business. This bottom section is much like, and this one is a little tight, but this bottom section, if you take a look at it, is much like cucumber. Now you have to say, "Gee, this tastes good."
I have to do this?
Actually, this was a poor choice.
All right. Jesus,
Oops, like food in the supermarket, food in the wilderness can taste bad when it's too old. Let's try another one.
And I'll do the same.
Oh, big difference. Big difference.
Tastes like,
Yeah, cucumber.
tastes like cucumber.
Absolutely.
Enough of this snacking. Let's get back into the scenic byway of the AuSable River. We're heading towards Iargo Springs, enjoying uninterrupted views along the way. From land at Iargo Springs, there's a 200-foot vertical drop that provides a dramatic view of part of the AuSable River known as Cook Pond. For land lovers, there's 1,500 feet of boardwalk winding through the woods full of hemlock, pine, and cedar. Interpretive panels tell the story of Native Americans who once held their tribal powwows here. They believed these waters contained magical powers. This is a spectacular trip in the summer and even more stunning in the fall when the trees turn to brilliant shades of orange, red, and yellow. Most people enjoy the river from May through October. As you can see, this is a relaxing way to spend time with friends. You can have a nice conversation while paddling along, enjoying the views, and being rejuvenated by nature.
River Road just became nationally known as a scenic byway. It was a scenic byway before. The national just kind of secures it financially, and it is a United States forest system, and it won't be built upon. It'll just be improved. The vistas, will be kept up by Argo Springs, Lumberman Monument, and there is a private memorial called Canoers Memorial along this stretch here. We're on the Cook Pond, which is between the 5-channel dam and the Cook Dam. It's an 8-mile impoundment between the two dams, full of waterfowl, eagles, and like I was saying, trumpeter swans. And in the spring, if they don't leave, you'll find loons, nesting pair of loons. And as you can see, we're breaking the corners here on some of the high bluffs, and we're just passing Argo Springs over to our right.
It isn't long before Jim stops and finds another edible plant on the shore. It looks like a weed to us, but he shows us how to strip away the leaves and the pickers and find a part of the plant that he calls celery.
Lunch. Perfect. Celery. Purple. Try a little?
Actually, I'm ready for a hot dog. Paul and Jim make a good team, with Paul guiding the trip and Jim lending his expertise in plants, folklore, and history.
This has been a really nice trip out here. I really like this section of the river too. Doesn't seem to be a lot of people around.
No, actually that's why I chose this section of the river. It's real nice, as you can see. It's in the middle of the week. You want to stay away from on the weekends. It's a little more traffic, but it's so calm and peaceful out here. You got 8 miles of paddling. You got beautiful spots like we're at right now.
What kind of trips do you take people on? Whereabouts? I know we go on. One of the trips is the one we're on right now, but you have other ones too.
Yeah.
What?
We have another trip that's for more experienced paddlers. It's starting at Cook Dam. We go through the Foot Pond, which is about 11 miles stretch. It's some river, mostly open water, a little bigger than this. You got the high bluffs, but then we portage the dam, the Foot Dam, and we go 6 miles on the lower AuSable, the Whirlpool. It's about a 15-mile trip. It's a little challenging the most, but for the guy that likes to paddle, it's a beautiful trip.
As Paul explains, it's the length of the trip that determines how challenging your trip will be. But you really don't need any experience as a kayaker or canoer to enjoy the AuSable when you have experienced guides like Jim and Paul. Everyone from families with young children to grandparents well into their 80s have been down this river. Bring sunglasses, a hat and some suntan lotion, plus some water and perhaps a few snacks. By the way, AuSable River kayaking provides all non-alcoholic excursions. Back on the water, I'm really getting the hang of this kayaking, and I'm learning a lot about Michigan's history, plants, and wildlife. The trip ends all too soon. This is an experience you want to repeat again and again.
This is really nice, Paul. I really appreciate you taking us out here and showing us the ropes. And
My pleasure.
it's been a great trip. It's a new experience for me, running in this kind of a kayak and learning all the great things we learned today. It's amazing. And I'm a little stiff.
Fun.
I'm a little stiff coming out of there.
Your knees will be a little weak maybe, but I hope you got a new experience.
It really was. This is great. These are nice boats here. They really track well in the water. Easy to paddle. We paddled all the way up, back up river here, so and nothing to it. It's just amazing what you can do with them. And I hope
nice
that a lot of people come up and try this out. And not only getting out there and being able to kayak like this, but learn a lot about nature and being able to get up just up close and personal to it. And it's a really nice thing to be able to do.
You can find a complete travel planner for trips down the AuSable and to other sites near Oscoda on our website at www.greatgetaways.tv. We also have links for places to stay, canoeing and kayaking guides, fishing, hiking, and more. Canoeing the AuSable River is
The scenery is captivating, and across the forest is a masterpiece of color.
The river is almost completely yours and no crowds or noise to disturb the tranquility of your trip. So that's just what we did. We met with owners Jim and Chandra LaFond. Offering everything from cabins to kayaks and canoes and even a store for all your canoeing needs, the LaFonds welcome visitors with open arms. Our trip would start at McKinley Bridge and last about 2 hours, but there is an array of trips to pick from.
A lot of drift boats. You get because it's good for brown trout and rainbow trout.
Mainly trout, though.
Yeah, there is walleye and all the other species in here, but they mainly go for the trout.
Okay.
And you can usually see them if you look down in the water. You go over top of them, you'll see some nice fish.
Now we're getting some color, and yet we're getting a lot of green. A lot of different types of trees. What kind of trees are we going to see through here?
You got oak, you got if you look up there, it's all dead ash, just like throughout the whole Michigan, because all the dead ash died off. You got poplar, you got basswood, a lot of pine.
So we'll see a lot of color variations.
Yeah, there's quite a few different maples along the river.
While Chandra filled us in on the types of rentals they have, Heidi continued to steer the canoe in a safe route.
Well, our most popular trips are the 2.5 hour trip. We start that at 9 o'clock in the morning and we run it every hour on the hour up until 2 o'clock. We have a 5-hour trip. It's from Cummins Flats to 4001 and we only do that 2 times a day. It's at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. You have them, though, as long as 7 days?
Yes, that would be the full length of the river from Grayling to Oscoda. We have a lot of people that do an overnight trip, Mayo to 4001 or Alcona Dam to Loud Dam. And those ones are overnight trips.
Okay.
Most people, the rafts are really good for families because small children, things like that, they're not as tippy. And so they feel a little bit more comfortable taking smaller children in the rafts. But it's everybody's preference on kayak, canoes. We also have stand-up boards and, of course, tubes.
There goes a great blue heron, a solitude-seeking creature. They find the AuSable perfect for their life.
What's nice about canoeing today is we've taken a shorter trip, so you've got time to go visit the other attractions if you only have a weekend to come up and enjoy it. I would start the tour on the inner part of the region and then work your way out to the bay because of the color change is always later, closer to the lake.
Okay.
Everything is really about 15-20 minutes away. Canoeing today is about 30 miles or 35 miles from the Tawas Bay area, but the other stops are en route or on your way back to the area.
Well, we pulled off to the side here. We're just taking a little break along the river, and you'll find spots like this along the river. This one, evidently, people have pulled off. Kind of a sandy, grassy little spot. They built a little fire there. Good place for a break, have a little lunch, just relax for a few minutes. And you remember with me, well, of course, you know Heidi. She's been on the show many times. I've got Jim and Chanda with me, and we are out here, and they own the Alcona Canoe Rentals. Now, a lot of things going on this time of the year, but a lot of hunters coming up too. Now, Jim, do hunters come in and get canoes or kayaks?
Oh yeah, they float the river during deer season.
Okay.
During deer season, you'll hear boats going up and down the river,
Okay.
going to their blinds.
All right. It probably is a good way too, because if you can get one near the river, it's not too far to your boat and it's easy to get out.
Right.
So that probably makes it nice. What about other folks that are coming up? You getting a lot of older folks or the younger ones that say in their 20s, maybe young married people that don't have kids yet, they can get out at this time of the year.
Oh yeah, exactly. And they have a lot of people who do hiking, things like that still this time of the year. So even if they just want to spend a couple hours on the river and then do a hike afterwards, camping, still a lot of people in the area.
And Heidi, I gotta believe that probably the biggest draw is going to be color at this time of the year.
Always this time of year. Colors, Everybody's looking for it. They drive all over the state, but Tawas Bay area and this northeast region is absolutely spectacular.
It really is, and unless you get up here and visit, you don't realize how nice it is. And as beautiful as it is at almost any time of the year, it's especially nice during this time of the year when we've got all the colors in bloom, and it really lights it up.
And you don't have far to go to get here.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true. Leave a couple hour drive up, you're here. So, and you can be out on the river. That's what we did. Came up this morning. We're out on the river this afternoon. Great time. Beautiful day. Is it always this nice in the fall?
Absolutely.
Good answer.
You'll just have to come and see if it's this beautiful every year.
Just prepare for whatever and enjoy it no matter what. We were getting close to the end of our color tour on the water, and I wanted to enjoy every bit of it. So I was anxious to get back in the canoe and start paddling. Down the river, there's two things that come to mind. One, it is so quiet out here. It is just beautiful. Everybody else is kind of downriver from us now. We've gotten behind a little bit, but boy, does it make it nice. You just can't hear a thing. Colors have been beautiful. It's a great time of the year to be up here. Colors can just come blazing out at you when you're going along. Got kind of an interesting sky up there too. It is cloudy today, but we got some sun shining through it. We got some fluffy clouds up there, and it's kind of a neat look to it. You really feel like you're in the outdoors when you're going down here. There is nothing like paddling in the fall. It is the perfect time of year to travel the river. I enjoyed it, and I know we'll be back. One last surprise at the end, a little waterfall that almost said thanks for coming, and we enjoyed having you. What a great way to spend a fall day. If you would like more information about a Kona canoe rental to take a trip of your own, you can find a link from our website. Well, we've made it back, and did everybody have a good time?
Yeah. Wonderful.
It was a beautiful trip down the river, and it was just calm out there. We didn't spend a lot of time on it, didn't have to work at it. It's just a beautiful trip to take. How often during the, are you open, what times during the year?
Well, it depends on weather, of course. Right now it's still beautiful time to go down the river, so we'll be open probably another couple of weeks. But once the weather starts to turn, then we have to be careful because the water gets cold. We don't need people getting in that water.
Okay, so before they come up in the fall, they probably should give you a call then.
Absolutely.
Make reservations?
Sure we're doing the trips. Weekends are always the best time to do the trips, busiest time for us. So.
Okay. Like I said, we had a good time, and now I think we're all going to kick back, get something to drink, and have maybe a bite to eat, and just relax for the rest of the day. Beautiful time to be here. You better get up here now.
I'm coming back. Me too, for sure. No questions asked.
There are some wonderful places to go hiking or camping in the Ascota area. We're off to Hoist Lake. We're here at the Hoist Lake foot travel area, and we're going back in. We have been here before, but not over in the area we're in right now. So we're coming in from a different direction, going out to what we hope will be some small lakes. We're going to try a little bit of fishing out there. We just looked the area over. It's a nice hiking trail, over 10,000 acres of forest out here with over 20 miles of trail. So why don't you join us and we'll get things going. Two connecting loops of wide trails create a 20-mile figure-8 system through the area. Within reach are 7 lakes, beaver ponds, meadows, marshes, and a second-growth forest of aspen, pine, and northern hardwoods. The terrain is hilly enough to be interesting, but not difficult to walk. The trails are well marked with blue diamonds and numbered markers.
Is this your first time back here?
We usually go over on the east side. So
East.
this is our first time on the west side of Hoist Lake.
Of Hoist Lake, okay.
Yep, we normally go over there. And so we thought we'd come over here and try this one this year.
Okay, well, how's the other side? How do you like that?
Hoist Lake's a nice lake. Campsites are real nice. We don't know about over here. And Reed Lake east of here is real nice too.
Okay, you're planning on staying overnight? No, you're going to be doing some camping.
We'll be here about a week.
I was going to say, oh, you're going to be here a week.
Yep.
You got the gear, I seen that.
We got more than enough gear, so. And so yeah, probably till the weekend at least.
Cool.
So,
very good. Well, hey, I hope you guys have a good time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Off they went with probably 50 pounds on their back. They were prepared, and it looked like it should be a perfect trip.
At certain sections in the trail, it just lets you know where you're at. The easiest way, first of all, you want to look it up here and see the number 8. Then you just locate the number 8 on the map itself and it'll let you know exactly where you're at. And in this case, we're headed over to 10, which is about a mile down the trail this way. One of the ways you make sure you're always on the trail is you watch for blue blazes. You'll see them in the trees as you're walking along. So keep your eyes open, check your maps out, you'll stay on course. The trail we're on right now is considered more difficult. There's one that's worse than that, so this I guess isn't too bad, but it is up and down the hills a little bit, so you want to keep that in mind when you come up here. Be prepared to do a little hill climbing. Well, you can see here on the trail, this is one of the blue blazes that I was talking about, and you'll find these trails are well marked out here with them. You might notice that they're up kind of high. That's because in the winter the snow stacks up pretty good and you want to make sure that it's always above the snow line.
The Hoist Lake area is managed specifically for the enjoyment of hikers and other non-mechanized visitors. Mountain bikers are prohibited from using the area. The area's nearly 11,000 acres are located in the heart of the Huron National Forest, offering foot travelers an opportunity to get away from the hectic pace of city life. The trails are just a short drive from urban sprawl.
Well, we found our lake. This is Byron Lake, one of the many lakes out here in the Huron National Forest that you can come out to. It took us about 2 miles of walking to get out to this lake. And I think you can probably see across enough that we can get down by the shore here. So we're going to go ahead. One of the guys we met on the way out, Jerry, told us that he came out here ice fishing and did fairly well. So we're going to go ahead, get our rods out, do a little cast, and have a bite to eat. Just kind of relax and walk around the lake and look at the sights and just enjoy ourselves out here in the woods.
When we reached Byron Lake, we were pretty excited to fish this hidden gem. Here it was 70 degrees, the sun was shining, and not a soul around. We checked over the campsite and prepared our gear.
We're here at Byron Lake, and we found the campsite that's here. There's one campsite on this lake, and as you can see, there's a fire ring sitting out here, and they've got logs around so you can sit around. It's a really nice area. It's real sandy out here. Plenty of places to put your tent. I would also, being out in here, there's a bear out in here. You probably want to tie your food up at night if you do camp out here. But this is just a great spot, a beautiful view out on the lake, and you're all by yourself. How nice is that?
We soon found ourselves catching fish after fish after fish. Now that was something I didn't expect, but what a welcome surprise.
This is what, 4, 5?
5.
Been here 20 minutes maybe casting? 4 if we don't catch the fact that Denny got caught too. You know what? We're getting ready to leave here today. Although it looks bright out here right now, we're out by the lake. You get into the woods, let me tell you what, it darkens up, and it darkens up in a hurry. So we're going to make sure we leave ourselves enough time. But look at this. We're out here by ourselves on this wilderness lake. Nobody else around. What a great day in the fish. Some days you just hit it right, and today was the day we've been catching fish all the way along the shoreline, walking along, casting an ultralight, one after another. You cannot beat it. Come on up and try it for yourself.
This is a hike I will do again and again. Its location on the eastern side of the Lower Peninsula makes it easily accessible to the large population of southeast Michigan.